Welcome back. This is Ted Jordan, and I'm the author of the CompTIA Linux Plus Certification Exam Guide for the XK004 exam. And let's go ahead and look at questions number 17 and 18 from the book. Question 17, which command updates every few seconds, displaying the routers that packets use to reach their destination within a GUI, graphical user interface? We've got mtr, traceroute, traceRT, and iftop. I'll give you a minute to think on this, or you can pause the video. And the answer for this one is A, mtr. And let's show a quick demonstration of this one, my traceroute. Log in a student. And we'll open a terminal. Got one sitting here. If you don't have a terminal sitting here, you can go in here and type terminal. There are a few of them. I'll just pick this one here that says terminal. Do a man on mtr. And I don't have it installed. So I'll have to install it. I'll say, and I'm on Debian system, so I'm going to use the app command to do the installation. Now remember, when you do su space dash, su again standing for switch user, dash says I also want to read the profile. I want to also grab that profile of the user I'm switching to. And again, the default user is root. So we'll do apt install mtr. Again, this could also be apt-get install mtr as well. Alright, so now that mtr is installed, we can do a man on mtr. It's got here your network diagnostics tool, and I've always known it to be called my traceroute. I'll let you read the man page on your own. mtr to www.jordanteam.com, and here it's showing you the path and the routers that it's taking to reach that site. And here we can see the my traceroute. It's also showing the percent loss, packets sent, how long it takes to get there, so you get a lot of statistical information, and the different routers that it's using to access that final site. We'll do a Control-C to get out of this. The other options were traceroute, which is similar to my traceroute, but it just, instead of continually updating, it just shows you one single analysis. So again, traceroute uses the UDP protocol by default on Linux. So we'll use -I so they can use the ICMP protocol, and we'll get more results. And we're seeing the routes and paths that it's taking to get to my site. There was another one here called traceRT, which is the traceroute command for Windows. Doesn't work in Linux. And the final one there is iftop. Do a man on iftop. Alright, don't have that one installed, so we'll install it. Iftop acts similar to the top command. And the top command, if you haven't seen that before, this will show you what's using the most CPU, memory, and the command is here on the right. Shows you the priority and the nice value, which we'll talk about later in another question, which users are running those commands. And so mainly system information, where iftop, let's do a Q to quit from here, will show you utilization of your network utilization. Let's get a little traffic going. Bring up a browser. You can get some activity. We see some activity going on here. as to which sites it's reaching and the sizes of the packets, the number of transmissions and receive requests from these remote sites. We can even see the direction here as well. Q to quit from here. Alright, so that's iftop. And you can read the man page on that to learn more about that command. Now let's take a look at the next question. So anyway, again, the answer for 17 is A. Displays your routers and packets to reach your destination within a GUI. You might say, well, that was not really within a GUI. And if you run this on a CentOS system, that does come up in a graphical user interface. So it's a tough one, but on Debian it looks different. The answer in that one is A. When local authentication is used on a Linux system, which file contains the passwords for the user accounts? So we got a/etc/passwd. That looks like a good candidate. /etc/group. Maybe. /etc/gshadow. It's a possibility. /etc/shadow. And if you can pause this if you want. Otherwise, the answer here is D. /etc/shadow keeps the passwords for your user account. And so if we go back here to our Debian system, we'll do a clear. Now I am root here, so I'm able to look at the shadow file. If I was a regular user, I could not look at the shadow file. Like, let me go back and so say cat /etc shadow. It's not going to allow me to do it, but if I'm root, and I'll just say well, cat. Alright, I'm able to look at the shadow file, and after this, so you have the first column, which is the username, then they got the colon, and then all of this here for this user is the hash password. So when I put in my password, which happens just to be password, PASSWORD, it gets hashed into this value. So, and we use hashes in password files like shadow. So if a hacker happens to get this file, they still don't know the password. They're closer because they got the hash. So it does make it possible for them to defeat, but it still makes their job hard. It's not easy. It's not as easy as having the password there. So that's why when you talk to your Unix or Linux administrator, you say, well, look, I like the password I have. I don't want to change it. I just wanted to use the password I had before. They don't know it. All they have is a hash as well. That's why they say, well, you got to make a new password. Now that first one was A, the etc password file. In that file, that is, if they rename some of these files in Linux, that would be, this would be called the user database. The password file used to keep passwords inside of it. The hashes actually were replaced with X's. These X's mean that the password hash is in /etc shadow. But we still need to keep this password file because we need to know the username. And let me go down to the bottom here. We need the username, the user ID, their default group ID, their login directory, their home directory, and which shell they're going to be using. So this one's set to sh, but usually most people these days use bash, B-A-S-H. To see our group memberships, and that was the next one here, B, you use the /etc group file. And so here it looks very similar to the password file, but these are really group names, not usernames. So here we have a group of users, or here we have the video group, and then in this column you put the user ID of the people that are members of this group. So the group names in the first column, the usernames are in the fourth column. Again, separated by colons. This number here would be the group ID. And again, this X means if there is a password set for the group, that will go into the file called gshadow, as they say here in C. So gshadow is the group password file, and very similar to the shadow file. Again, if I was a regular user, I would not be able to look at this file. Whereas a regular user, I could look at the password and group file, for example. So if there was a password, the exclamation and the stars mean there's no password set. And if there were a password set for this group, we'd see that all that garble again like we saw last time. But I just want to show you that as a regular user, I could still view the password file and the group file. You kind of have to be able to look at these files as regular users, because as a user, all your information is in those files. They need to be read. And then the shadow file, or the gshadow file, cannot be read here, all right, as a regular user. All right, so that's it for questions 17 and 18 from the book. We hope you like this video, and definitely subscribe to this channel, and we'll have some more questions coming up for you in the next week or so. Thanks for watching.